Today I will introduce revenue and expense deferrals. The program helps companies with the amortization of maintenance and service-related contract revenue and expense amounts over the life of the contract. It allows companies to comply with Sarbanes-Oxley Act. The application can be configured to process transactions from any Sage 300 module, including third-party applications, as long as they support optional field and post-transaction to GL. How the application works? First, it identifies transactions that should be processed. Then, it defers the revenue expense amount and creates a schedule for recognition. And finally, it recognizes the amount as per the schedule. Now let me open the Sage 300 and show this on an example. Let's go to order entry module and make one order entry, so that on the detail level we will define the RD required optional fields. So I will select a customer item in a detail. Let's say this is an annual support agreement, and we will define quantity 1 and amount, let's say 1,200. Now the important part is the optional field values. So in the detail level, we should have the required optional field list, which will be taken by RD module. So first, we have to define the defer from date. So here, since this is a sample database of Sage 300, I will define the January 1st of 2020. And let's say the end defer to date, the ending date is the December 31st, the last day of the year. Then by default, the values for deferment period came as fiscal period, and the method of the deferral is straight line. I don't change it, and I will leave the template 1 blank. I will speak and touch this subject later. So the values of these 4 optional fields is the required ones, and they are required to be able the application process this transaction when it will reach to general ledger. So we need to process this order entry, and in addition to order entry, to create shipment and invoices, and to post invoices up to GL. So I will do it everything in one go. I will fill the ship quantities from here. And I will select to create the invoice immediately during posting. In addition to that, I also changes the default settings in all modules so that the invoice will be posted in accounts receivables immediately, and whenever it will reach to GL, also it will be posted from GL as well, in order to make everything fast. So I will post the order entry. Now the message will inform the result. It says that the posting is completed, invoice posting also completed, posting in AR also completed, and in GL also the creation was completed. So to check this, I will close the order entry screen and go to accounts receivable module. Open the last created invoice. And I will check that the detail line has the information that I entered in the option fields. So as we can see here, we have deferral from date as January 1st, deferral to date as December 31st. And also we have defined deferment period and method as straight line. And the GL batch is posted. So the transaction has all the required information in order to be processed by the Audit module. What should be done in order to process it? We need to go to Audit module, go to periodic processing folder, and open the Audit processing screen. On this screen, the first thing that we have to pay attention is the processing date. By default, it is the session date, January 1st. We will leave it as it is. And before processing, I will print the pre-processing report by clicking this corresponding button. The report will give the information that transactions are available, which transactions are available to be processed, to be deferred. It is giving the deferring information. So my entered transaction should appear on this report. And from here we can see the batch entry line number on the first column, description information, the period and deferral type information, fiscal period and straight line, from date to date information, the deferral account, to which deferral account the deferment will be done. It is defined in the setup, so in my transaction has the revenue account is 4,000. So from this 4,000, the amount should be taken and put in the deferral account 7,001. And the amount is credit 1,200. So now I will click the process button to process the transaction. I'm clicking yes, and the message now informs the results. It is saying that the deferral batch created and there is no transaction to be recognized. First of all, we will check it in GL. What batch is created by doing this processing. I will go to GL batch list. Open the generated batch. And from here, we will see that the 1,200 is credited. The revenue account is credited, and the deferral account is debit. So, revenue account is credited for 1,200. This is the deferral part. And what information is created and kept in the Audit module when I did the processing. To check this, I will go to Audit transactions folder. We'll open the transactions inquiry screen. click the Go button to populate the list of transactions. And the last one is my just created one. So I will click the details to check the information related to this transaction. It has 4 tabs on it. On the first tab, there are general information about my transaction, such as the source account, the amount, and now on the second tab, it is the deferral related information that are populated based on the optional fields. So since we have entered the straight line method, here it is shown that the deferral method is straight line. From date is January 1st, to date is December 31st. The calculation base is fiscal period. And the recognition amount, it should be recognized back to the same revenue account, 4,000. Now, it is also, in addition to this, the schedule for the recognition has been generated. It is shown on the third tab, recognition schedule tab. I will maximize the screen and we will see that we have 12 detail lines, 12 recognition details. And the schedule consists of these 12 detail lines, and each detail line has a recognition date shown on the first column. And the first line will be recognized at the end of the January. Second one at the end of February, and so on. And each recognition has an amount of 1/12 of the whole transaction amount, which is $100. So in this moment, we don't have recognition, and there is a special column, is recognized column, showing that whether the detail line has been recognized or not. And all detail lines are not recognized, so no is for all detail lines. How to recognize them? If I will make another processing by using a date at the end of the January or after that, then the first detail line will be recognized. Let's do it. So I will go to periodic processing, audit processing screen, and change now the processing date from January 1st to January 31st. And click the process button. Now the message is informing that there is nothing to be deferred, but recognition batch is created. So if I go to GL batch list, I will find there a new generated batch there. And the description is not informing that this is a recognition batch. The previous one was the deferral batch. Okay, I will open that batch, and it has only one entry where the revenue account now is credited. It came back using the amount of $100, and the deferral revenue account is debited. And this information about the recognition we can find in the transaction details screen. So if I open that details once more and go to the schedule tab, here I will see that the first detail line is recognized. And as you can see, the recognized column is changed from no to yes. Also on the second column, which is named as actual recognition date, we have the recognition date populated here. and so on. If we will do the processing month after month, we will have recognized other detail lines as well. This is a cycle of deferring and recognizing transactions. In addition to a method that we just used by filling a list of optional fields, we can be allowed to use templates instead of it. And in case of using templates, only the template optional field, corresponding optional field should be used in transactions. First of all, we need to create a template. I have already created one template here, where I defined the similar information here, saying that the deferral method is trade line, the deferment period is fiscal period. Now we need to specify the dates. Here we don't have a fixed date. Instead of that, we are linking the from and to dates to the transaction date. And here we are specifying that the perform date is based on the transaction date, and it starts from that date only. So when I will use my template, my from date will be exactly the transaction date. And now I will define the end date. I'm saying that it is a base date, plus now I have to specify plus how many days or years should be plus. So here I define as 3 years minus 1 day. So my schedule will last exactly 3 years. How to use this template? I will show in a new example. I will do the same type of transactions, but now I will use the template code. Let me open order entry and make a new order using a customer. Same item, the same quantity and price information. And now, in the list of optional fields, I will specify the template code here. As you remember, I defined it as T. So my 3 years template is selected here. As you see, by default, the two optional field values are populated, the default values are populated. However, if I use template, the values of other of the optional fields will be ignored. So it doesn't matter whether I will have the values here specified or not. In any case, the template will be used and the transaction will be processed. So I will process it the same way to create and post invoice up to the GM. After posting invoice, now I am ready to process it, the new transaction. To process it, I will do the same way, opening the audit processing screen and clicking the process button. Again, a new default batch is created. And if I go to audit transaction details, I will have here the details of the new transaction. And if I go to the second tab, I will see that now it is used the template code. And the template information is used for creating the recognition schedule. And now my schedule consists of 3 years. And since the 3 years consists of 36 periods, now I have 36 detail lines in my schedule. and the transaction amount is divided into 36 for each detail line. This much how to use template. The module has a list of reports, and I will show some of them. The first one is Audit Log Report. The report will show the transaction created in GL by the application. And if I print it for the last two processing, last three processing, since I did three processing, we will see that what happened during this processing. First of all, the first transaction was debited from revenue account and then credited to 100. And the first detail line relates to the second transaction, which is credited. And similarly, the revenue deferral account is affected. The second report, revenue flush report, allows us to see how much has been deferred and how much remains to be recognized. It can be printed in summary or detailed form. Let's print in a summary form first. Actually, I didn't select my last processing numbers, my last transactions. Let me select it in order not to have a big list of transactions on the report. As we can see here, I have only two transactions created. The first one has amount 1,200, from which 100 is recognized already. And it remains to be recognized 1,100. The second transaction has been deferred but not recognized at all. So all amount remains as deferred. The next report is deferred revenue report, allowing to age recognitions. So if by selecting aging date, age as of date, and by cutting transactions, if we want to cut, we will be able to age the remaining amounts so that we will see how much will be recognized during the coming periods. So let me select the last two transactions and run the report. The first transaction, if I will look into the data columns, we will see that the amount is 1,200, and in the coming period from 0 to 30 days, $100 will be recognized. Similar amount will be recognized during the next period. And over 90 days will be recognized the $900. Similar information is shown on for the second transaction as well, but the amounts are smaller since it will be recognized not during 1 year, but during 3 years. This much about the report, and also I would like to inform that the Revenue and Expense Deferral module has web screens, and it is possible to use web screens and do the same procedure, everything in this web screen. Let me open web screen and show an example how it works. Let me log in to Search 300. Then I will select the Revenue and Expense Deferral module. And here I have all the screens related to this module. For example, I can open the transaction details screen. And I will have the same information in web screens what I have in the desktop app. The transaction details, deferral settings, and the schedule. Actually, this is all that I plan to show you today.